If the columns in your data frame look messy and your numbers are stored as rather than integers and floats, they are stored as text, your data analysis is already going wrong. In this video, we will learn how to rename columns and how to convert data type of columns in pandas in the data frames. So as usual, I began with importing pandas as PD. PD is an alias, and I have used the same data which I used in one of my previous videos, data.csv. I have read this CSV file into df and I have printed the first 5 values of df. So we can see the categories are date, category, value, product, sales, and region. These are the columns. Now I've printed the last 5 values as well, and you can see that there are some missing values in the last 5 columns. So we'll try and handle the missing values as well while renaming and changing the data types. I've done df.info to get the info of the dataset. So again, we know that there are some missing values and we have the categories. Okay. Now let's see what missing values, where do we have the missing values? We have missing values in value and we have missing values in sale. We can also see how many missing values are there by using sum. When I'll do sum, I'll get 15 missing values in value and 15 missing values in total sales. First, we'll learn renaming the columns. Okay. So I've already renamed the columns as say from sales to date of sales. So I'll rename them differently now. So first what I'll do is to rename a column, we have to use the function rename, df.rename. Now we'll say columns equal to, let's say I have to convert the date of sales to say sales. So sorry, to date, simple date. Now I'll run this cell. Now it has converted to date. But if I run df again, if I try to print df again, I'll get date of sales only. Now why didn't I get the value say date only here? Why did I get date of sales here? So the reason is that I have not used in place is equal to true, or you can also do one thing. You can create a copy of this data frame rather than changing the original data frame. I'll use in place is equal to true. When I'll do in place is equal to true, the value will change in the original data frame rather than changing in the copy. Now when I'll run df, it will say date. Okay. I'll show you another example. Here I have total sales. I'll change it to sales. So I'll do df.rename and we'll pass columns is equal to, just a second, total sales, and I want it changed to sales. Now notice here that I'm passing the value as a dictionary type. I'm using colon here rather than using the comma here. If you use a comma, it will show an error. You have to pass the values as dictionary types. Now I'll run the cell. So it has changed to sale, but it won't be replaced in the original dataset. Please don't mind the train. So to replace it in the original dataset, I have to write in place is equal to true. Now the original dataset will be affected. Now when I'll run df again, I'll get date, category, value, product, sales, and region. Okay. So this was about renaming the columns. But this is a lengthy method. I mean, it's not a standard method. Usually what we do when we rename the columns is we standardize it. So let's actually see what a standardized method is of renaming columns. So what we'll do is we'll do df.columns, and what I'm going to do is I'll say df.columns, then I'll say string dot, I want all the values to be capital. So what I'll do is first I'll actually want all the extra spaces to be gone. So I'll do df.string.strip, then I'll say string dot upper, then I want to replace all the spaces with underscore. I don't have spaces in my dataset, But if you have spaces, then it will be replaced with underscore. So it will be str dot replace, and we'll pass this, and we'll pass with underscore. Okay. Now this is a standardized method of doing things. Now this will standardize it and will rename the columns, and all the columns will be uppercase. Now when I print df, we have date, category, value, product, sales and region as bolded, and as well as uppercase. Okay, so this was about renaming the columns. Now let's change the data types. First, again, I'll do df.info. Let's look at our data. So while changing the data types, one problem we face is that we have missing values. We have missing values in value, and we have missing value in sales. As we saw when I did isNull.ne, we have missing values in value and missing value in sales. So how do we handle it? How do we change the data type? Let's actually try to change the data type of value. Since value is right now, I'll first show you the data types, df.dtypes. Right now value is float 64 and sales is float 64. I don't want the value to be float value. I want it to be an integer value, because nobody is going to pay in decimals. People have to pay the value of the product as a whole value. So I want it integers. I want the value in integers. So what shall I do? What I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a new column. So I'll say df value new is equal to df sorry value dot as type, and I'll say int. Now look at it carefully. I'll get an error here. Why did I get error? I got an error because there are missing values in the uh, value column. So how do we handle it? We'll first fill the missing values with the mean of the values. If you don't know how to fill missing values, you can watch my previous video, which was on filling the missing values and missing data in the data frames. So what I'm going to do is I'll say df value underscore new is equal to df value, and rather than doing as type int, what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to use the fill na function, fill na, and I'm going to fill it with df value dot mean, and now I'm going to convert it to integer type. Now I'm use as type this int. Now when I'll run this, okay, I have to use capital values here. Python is case sensitive, so remember that. Now it runs perfectly. Now when I'll print df, I'll have another column as value new, which has all the values in the form of integers. So this is how you rename the columns and you change the data types in the data frames. If you like this video, please press the like button, share this video, comment if you have any doubts, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, and I'll see you in the next video.